Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, wherever you are, might be listening/watching. Thank you for making us part of your day. We're the Hockey Podcast you're about to hear, and I'm Justin.
I'm Alexander.
And Alexander, have I ever mentioned to you how I'm always so nervous when I prune a tree in the summertime?
No.
Well, sometimes I am, but then whenever I see the buds growing, I think, wow, what a relief.
Uh,
Oh, had to plant that
okay.
joke many years ago, huh?
Mm, mm,
Is that not bearing much fruit for you?
it's not.
Never does, huh?
No.
All right. Well, on
Well,
that happy note, where should we start?
well, we are now in that 1 day window between the end of the regular season and the start of the playoffs because the NHL wants to keep things moving along, except when it comes to the break between the conference finals and the Stanley Cup, in which case, let's take 5 days off. But between the end of the regular season and the start of the playoffs, let's take 1 day off. Okay.
Unless you're
Well,
Colorado, because they've been done since what, Sunday? Monday?
oh, they've been done for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make it make
Oh.
sense.
Anyway, here we are, another NHL regular season books, and there's a number of things that have happened that I'm sure we will get to.
Oh, yes.
But when we first started this season, in our young, innocent, naive little minds, if we could go back and tell ourselves anything, we would probably tell ourselves to not be so optimistic on a number of teams that we were optimistic on,
Uh-huh.
and the
Uh-huh.
best figure out where we really done messed up and where we really didn't is to go back and revisit our preseason points predictions team by team,
All right. I'm sure we got them all right.
see how close or how far off we were. So, Justin is going to run down through the teams, and I will give him the point totals for
Mm-hmm.
each team, and we will compare that point total to what we believed it to be. So, Justin, if you would read off a team, read off my prediction for points, your prediction for points, I will give you the actual result.
Alrighty.
And we
Which
can
division do you want
come
started?
together. Oh, I think typically it's probably just always starting in the Atlantic and rolling from there.
Works for me. First team gun on deck. Oh, golly, it's Boston. This is going to be a great start. You said 94. I said 98.
Survey says 76.
Oh, golly.
This was the year that the bottom finally fell out, folks.
Finally. I think the last
It
couple
took
of
them.
years I've been expecting it, and then it never happens. So I'm like, well, fine. I'll stop expecting it. And then it happened.
Now, if the bottom falls out, that means somebody steps back into the void that they leave. So, what's our next team?
Buffalo.
Oh, well, the Buffalo Sabres. Did they step in that spot? What did we predict?
You said 90. I said 88.
We were both terribly wrong because they only
Yeah.
made 79 points and they did
79.
step in that spot.
Oh, golly. Yep, so it was not them. Perhaps the next team in the Detroit Red Wings?
The Detroit Red Wings. Well, yeah. What did we say they were going to do?
You said 87, I said 94, and this was one of your teams for the preseason team point total thing.
Uh huh. And they had 86.
Hey,
They did not step into the Boston spot.
you were just 1 point off. That's pretty good. Pretty impressive.
Well, and if we wouldn't have lost our last game in overtime by giving up a goal at the end of the game, we would have been.
Yeah, sounds about
Eh,
right. Sounds about
Anyway,
right.
who's
How
next?
was that?
Who's next?
We got them Florida Panthers. You said 105, I said 100 even.
They ended up with 98.
98, hey, not bad. This was also my team pick for the preseason picks. 90 is pretty respectable. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
no. How about them Canadians?
Canada's.
You said 82. I said 72.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh.
I
Well,
know.
that whole Boston team that fell out. Yeah, Canadians saw that spot and said, "Hey, we're making the playoffs." They went for 91 points this year
Shoo.
with a negative 20 goal differential. But
Oh,
yes,
golly. Oh, golly. Oh, man. That
how it's
hurts
even
so much.
possible, we don't know.
All right. Oh, how about them Ottawa Senators? We both said 88.
Ottawa Senators at 88. They did not have 88. They actually finished above the Canadians at 97.3
Shoo.
Pirates almost caught the Panthers into the division.
That's insane. This was one of your teams. But yeah, 97 points. That's crazy.
Ooh, lolly.
I've been like, 3 years too early on all my predictions for the Senators, apparently. Who knew? Eh.
Uh,
Alright, how about the Tampa Bay? You said 91, I said 94.
102.
Shoo! I guess they didn't fall off the cliff yet. Maybe someday, but not
Somehow,
this year.
damn left and they got better.
Weird how that works sometimes.
Hmm.
Alrighty, and to round it out, Toronto. You said 95, I said 104.
108.
108. Alright! This is one of my teams. Sweet. Alright, anything else then for the Atlantic before we move to the Metro?
I believe the Atlantic is done.
Alrighty. So on to the Metro, starting with Carolina. You said 102, I said 104.
We're going to go with 99.
99. Alright, this was one of your teams. Oh, Columbus Blue Jackets. What a sad. So close in this. You said,
So
oh golly, you said 65. I said 60.
they came away with 89.
And so close to making it in. Oh man. Then we have the Devils. You said 101. I said 98.
91. Kind of a
91.
disappointing year.
Yeah,
Them
a
still
little
made
bit.
so
Yeah.
kind of disappointing.
Oh yeah, and that was one of my teams. Oops. All right. Next up, we have the Islanders. You said 92. I said 88.
They finished with 82 points.
Hey, there we go. Not too shabby. Definitely seen worse. Oh, how about them Rangers? Ooh, golly. 115 for you, 110 for me.
Had them at 115.
Yep.
Dear Lord, they ended up with 85.
Oh, golly. Oh,
I was 30 points off.
that was also one of your teams for the picks.
Oh,
Oh,
this is why I don't put money on my opinions.
yeah, right. Same here. Same here. How about the Philadelphia Flyers? You said 85. I said 82.
76.
All right, we're within the ballpark. All right. How about them? Oh, golly. How about them Penwings? You said 85. I said 86.
80.
Ugh, that was one of my teams. Ugh. Got the team we all missed the boat on. Washington. You said
Jeez.
87. I said 88.
111 for your President's Trophy winner. Well, okay, not your President's Trophy winner, but your
Eastern
um,
Conference.
your conference champion.
Yeah. Why didn't I take them instead of Pittsburgh? Uh, all right. Well, that wraps up the Metro. Anything else on the Metro before we boogie?
Lots of disappointment in the Metro this year.
Yeah. Very true. Maybe next year, I guess. Yeah.
I feel like at this point, the playoff spots that perennially belong to like the Rangers and the Penguins and stuff are going to other guys. The Rangers are kind of a hot mess. Not sure how they're going to fix that.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, it just seems like a very weak division in general. Like if Washington just won that division running away, it's a pretty weak division.
Right. Yeah. Insane that Washington did as well as they did. That just blows my mind.
Hmm.
But I don't mind Washington, so happy to see it.
Okay.
All right, so let's jump to the Pacific with the Anaheim Ducks. You said 63, I said 58.
The Anaheim freaking Ducks made their way all the way to 80 points this year.
80 points, holy smokes. Oh,
Right?
well, I know this one off the top of my head. Calgary, you said 70, I said 82, and I believe they finished with 96.
96.
I
The highest points for a team to still miss the playoffs.
know, that's insane. In fact, if you look at the league overall, they have the 15th best record, and they're not in the playoffs. Boggles the mind, that one. Boggles the mind. All right, Edmonton. You said 110. I said 112.
101.
All right, this is one of my teams. How about the Kings? You said 93. I had 90.
105.
What? Oh yeah, I do have home advantage against Edmonton. Crazy, crazy. Alrighty, Seattle. You said 81. I said 80.
76.
Man, that's actually not bad. That's not bad. See, if you don't look at our misses and just look at our makes, then we're doing pretty good.
True.
All right. Oh, San Jose. You said 60. I said 56.
52.
52. All right. Oh, Vancouver. Oh, golly. You ready? You said
Uh-huh.
100. I said 98.
90.
All right. Not as bad as I thought it was going to be, but still. And then wrap it up with Vegas. You said 94. I said 100.
110.
All right. 110. Anything else on the Pacific?
No, I don't think I have too much on those guys. We get to the end of the year, it's just kind of like, okay, well, the same three teams from last year, or they're again,
Yay.
kind of thing. Where it's just like, okay, well, fine, fiddlesticks and whatever.
Pretty much.
Yep, pack up your
Oh.
stuff.
Mm-hmm. All right. So the Central, we have Chicago. You said 65. I said 60.
So, old Chicago only had 61 points.
61. And for some odd reason, I picked them for one of my teams. I don't know why. How about Colorado? You said 105. I said 104.
They had 102,
Hey, hey, nice. So that was one of your teams. Dallas, we have 112 for you, 108 for me.
106.
Also one of your teams. So nice pickings. Minnesota, we both said 84.
They were 97.
97. All right, that was one of my teams. Uh, Nashville. Oh, buckle up again. Here we go.
Hmm.
109 for you, 110 for me.
68.
And that was also one of my teams.
Did we
Oh, it
miss that by
hurts.
40? Wow, that team just,
Yeah.
man,
You said 68, right? Yeah.
68.
Oh, that
Yes.
hurts so much. Oh, golly. All right. St. Louis Blues. You said 90. I said 86.
96.
Also know that one off the top of my head for reasons.
Uh, uh-huh.
That was one of your teams. Utah. We both said 90.
Utah had 89.
Hey, there we go. All right, and to wrap it up with Winnipeg, you said 99. I said 100.
116 for your true President's Trophy winners.
All right, there we go. So yeah, like I say, if you ignore misses, we had some pretty close ones there.
Yeah, I feel like I was pretty much majority way off. I feel like last year when we did like, okay, take the over or under, because we weren't tracking the points, we didn't realize how much we were off or not. Because it was like it's a pass fail, right? It's either over
Right?
or
Yeah.
under based on previous prediction. So if you were over by 100 or one, it's like, okay, you took the over, you were correct. When you actually have to put a points number to it, boy, oh boy, we didn't do very well.
No, good thing we're not working in Vegas.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
All right.
So I think the real question that everybody is going to want to know is how did we turn out head to head? My 8 teams versus your 8 teams, and we had stipulations as to which teams we could and couldn't pick.
Mm-hmm.
And so, maybe just a quick refresh for our listener is you had to pick 2 teams from the playoffs last year, one team from like the bottom like 5 or 6, and one team from like the middle
Right. Yeah.
uh, from last year as far as how they finished. So you couldn't just stack it with a whole bunch of good teams. You had to pick from um, each conference. It wasn't just division; it was each conference. And so that's how we determined who got which teams.
All right. Let's see here. Well, let me double check my math here real quick. But I think you smoked me, which is weird because last time we did this, it was actually pretty close. Yeah.
Justin is currently mathing math.
Yes, I'm desperately hoping my mathing was wrong the first time. Nope, it was right the first time. So, overall, your team's pulled in a whopping 760 points, and mine pulled in 704. So,
Oh,
kudos to you. Extra 54 points on my teams. And, yeah,
so I feel like you were closer on all of your predictions to season point totals than I was, but I
except for
just picked
a few
the
key.
teams that I got good. I chose.
Yeah, the ones I missed on, Nashville being almost a 50 point, 40 point swing, that one really hurt.
It definitely did.
Yeah, golly, what
Uh,
was I thinking? Oh, my word.
Also, like Otto had a much better season than I thought they were going to have.
Yeah, I didn't expect them to make the playoffs.
Yeah,
As
I
I
was
got
hoping for
tired of picking
85.
them. Yeah, right. So I
So,
got tired of making predictions that they were going to make it. Obviously, I'm early in a lot of my predictions because this was like the fourth time now that the President's Trophy winner of the previous season didn't make the playoffs. I thought that was going to happen last year with Boston, but they proved me wrong. Happened this year with the Rangers, so right prediction, wrong year. Eh,
uh-huh.
sounds about right, huh?
Yeah. I would say looking at our averages, my team's averaged 95 points, and your team's averaged 88 points. So the teams that I picked basically averaged as a playoff wild card, and your team's averaged as a lottery team.
All right. Yeah.
High lottery, but still lottery.
Right. Man, power of hindsight, huh? Sheesh, Louise.
Yeah.
But
Speaking of hindsight, what do you want to look back on this season and talk about?
well, I feel like we should check out our bold predictions to see where we fared there, and
Huh?
then look at our preseason picks. What are you thinking?
Um,
Ooh,
no, I think that's a decent wrap up. One of the things that I did not have, I don't think either of us had predicted, was that Ovi would break the goals record this year.
yeah, I thought it was gonna be next year.
I feel like that's probably like the biggest story. That's the lead that we've been bearing this whole night is Ovechkin breaking Gretzky's all-time goals mark for regular season goals. Um,
Very true.
'Cause we're not including playoffs. We're not including other professional leagues. Otherwise, Gordie Howe I think would still have it. Um,
Yeah, so what do you get for playing
but
100 years? So you know.
yeah. So, but all that to say that yeah, congrats to Kofi, and it was a semi-entertaining run-up to it.
Yeah,
Uh,
that was good. It
and
didn't drag out too long, so that was always
got
nice.
got to watch history be made.
Yeah,
It could be another 30 years. It could be 70 by the time that somebody breaks Ovi's record, which is
right.
kind of crazy to think about. Okay.
Well, it's gonna be Austin Matthews.
Uh,
Because he's averaging more goals per season than Ovi was. So it's gotta be Austin Matthews.
yeah. Sure. Okay. Okay.
Alrighty, so for the Eastern Conference, your bold prediction was Austin Matthews would have less than 50 goals. And sure enough,
I
looks
would say I
like
think
he had,
Nylander led the 45, so I know Matthews didn't have more than that.
yep, sure enough, he had 33.
Okay.
So there you go. You got one. Mine is New Jersey will win the cup, which I don't think is going to come true, but I guess I'll have to check on
It's
that one
still in
next
play.
time.
Still in play.
Yeah, this is true. So we'll see how it goes. For the Western Conference, you had Bedard will have more than 100 points.
That did not happen.
Let's see here. Good golly. My points total. Oops. Yeah, I'm not sure how many he had, but he's not even in the top 50. So yeah,
Um, yeah, no. I, yeah, that, yeah, that was a bad. Bad prediction. Let's see. 2024, 2025 season, 82 games played, 23 goals, 44 assists for 67 points.
And I say, well, this year only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Six guys had 100 or more points, which seems low than previous years. Huh. But
It's
the,
usually less than 10. Like it's somewhere between like
hmm,
5 and 10 pretty much
okay.
every year.
Seemed like it was like there was like yeah, I think it was 1 year where there was like 10 or 15 it seemed. But yeah, Nikita Kucherov had 121 for the most points. And will probably not win the Hart again, but whatever.
No, it's going to Dustin Wolf. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you'd be
That was
lucky.
the other, that was the other name for the um, hockey pick'em group, the playoffs groups I was thinking
Oh,
about. If it was going to be as matters, it was going to be Dustin Wolf deserves the heart. Um,
yeah. Well,
but
I think he should get the Calder, but that's not gonna happen since he didn't get the Flames to the playoffs. So,
mhm.
but let's start that debate, shall we?
Also another stat from Connor Bedard this season, he was a negative 36.
Oh, golly! How many points did he end up with then? Did you say
67.
67
He
points?
played all 82 games.
Wow.
Hmm.
Well,
So
you hit on both of your preseason predictions. My other one was Utah will make the playoffs, which they didn't. So
yeah.
I'm well 0 for 1 for sure on my conference predictions. Overall, you said the Four Nations will be a flop, and I would like it. How do you think that
Uh,
turned out?
yeah, not great. I feel like that was the biggest, bestest thing of the year.
Yeah,
Like,
turned
yeah,
out
that
it
was
was pretty good.
it was it was more entertaining than Obi's goal chase. Like
Right?
seriously, that made for amazing, amazing theater.
I tuned in for way more than I thought I was going to, and I figured I tuned in for all 5 minutes. I actually watched, I think most, if not all, of the championship round game, and then quite a bit of the other ones when I could here and there. So yeah, I was pleasantly
I
surprised with that.
I pretty much watched all 6 games.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
I was like, oh no, this is too fun.
I don't know. The first one, I'm like, nah, there's no way. Wait, it's actually decent. Huh. Okay, I guess I'll kind of try and check out some other ones. Wow, they're actually playing hard. Huh. All right. Yeah, if they play this every time for the All Star, I would 100% watch it all the time, but they don't.
Hmm.
So hopefully they can recapture some magic for next year, but I kind of doubt it. It's the NHL, they'll find a way to mess it up.
Oh, next year we get the Olympics, so there will be
Oh, that's
lots of
right.
passion.
That's right. Golly. Yeah.
This was just a precursor.
Yeah, so 2 years in a row we get have decent breaks. Who knows?
Hmm.
My bold prediction fell flat on its face, like hard flat on its face. It said the Rangers repeat for present just for the President's Cup trophy.
Ooh,
No way. Like I say, missed that one by a long while.
very hard to repeat from 19th.
Yeah, and yeah, no, like I said, they have the honor of being the fourth team to miss out on the playoffs after getting the President's Cup previous year.
Hmm.
Woo! All right,
So you're saying Winnipeg falls off the boat next year?
it could happen. Apparently, we shall
Mm.
see. Anything else in for our preseason bowl predictions?
Um, I don't think so because I assume we will cover our um, regular predictions, our cup predictions here when we get to talking about playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Which I think
Okay.
that's probably what's on deck next. Do you want to hit
Yep.
our preseason predictions for that, or?
We yeah we can just highlight our preseason. They're pretty quick
All right. So, do you remember who you had for the Western Conference Finals?
for the Western Conference Final.
Uh-huh.
I know I had Edmonton in the cup, so I assume they were in the Western Conference Final.
That's correct.
I would have chosen somebody out of the Central,
Correct. A green team from the South.
so it would have been Dallas.
Uh-huh. Do you still think that's going to be the case?
Um, no, maybe even no on both accounts. I'm So I'm torn with Edmonton because they just lost Ekholm, but so far they've said, okay, he's not going to play the first round. So I don't know if that means like they're going to get
Yeah.
past Los Angeles for the fourth year in a row, and then Ekholm's going to come in like midway through their next series against what Vegas at that point. Then they win that one, and then like he's like fully back and ready for like the conference final and the finals, and that's the story arc we're going for, or is it nope, he's gone. They're a different team without him. They give up a ton more goals. McDavid and Draisaitl can't keep up with the defensive lack of the rest of their team because they
Hmm.
have a whole bunch of like they lost their best defensive defenseman. Like
Yeah.
Nurse ain't doing it, Bouchard ain't doing it, Wallman ain't doing it, and so I feel like there's anyway. So I could have Los Angeles wipe them out in the first round and say
Oh, that'd
Edmonton's
be
not even
so great.
out of the first round, or I could be like, no, I think I could see Edmonton actually putting together a full cup run again this year.
Right.
There's there's something about like having two of the three, four, or five best players on your team that when you get to crunch time like this, you're like, okay, but boy, when you gotta have it, and you gotta have it. You'd rather have those guys than what Los Angeles has or what Vegas
Yeah.
has.
Yep.
I I feel like the only team really in the West that competes with them in that category is Colorado. And
Mm-hmm.
so there's kind of like this look. The regular season doesn't matter. Like I can't predict anything in the playoffs based on the regular season
Right.
because it's literally such a different mindset and everything to where I feel like if I don't take Edmonton, I'm gonna feel like an idiot being like, why did you think that they were gonna be any different than they were last year? You know?
Yeah.
But there's just the will of like the best players in the world. That's just you can't get past that. So there's 5 minutes of content for me just to say,
You're stalling. Uh-huh.
screw it, give me Edmonton again in the Western Conference Final.
Edmonton against who are you picking them to go against? Avalanche.
So I feel like it's got to be the Avalanche or the Jets, right? Like that's just what makes sense in my head. I know the Stars are higher ranked, but when it comes playoff time, I'm just like, I it's going to be fascinating because you have literally round one, Mikko Rantanen playing for the team, right? Like
Uh-huh.
the high level of drama there is fantastic. I I know Renton is a good player, but I don't think he has the um, we'll just call it "screw you, buddy" mentality that I think it would have. And so I can see where McKinnon's like, "You left this? Why?"
Yeah.
And just put on display of like, "Hey, remember how good it was over here?"
Right.
Also, the Stars D is banged up. I'm still not a huge Jake Ottinger guy. He had one good playoff run,
Uh,
and since
yep.
pedestrian. So, and you're in playoffs, right? So McKinnon's going to play 25 minutes a night. Makar is going to play 30 minutes a night.
Yeah. Yep. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
We say, hey, you get to the playoffs, your big horses, you play the heck out of them. So I feel like the Avalanche makes sense. The only thing is, I have not watched, I don't think, a single Jets game. I don't think I watched the Red Wings Jets games against them because I knew they were probably going to get killed both games because the Jets were so good. So I don't think I've watched a single minute of Jets hockey this year to even know what makes them successful other than Hellebuck is really, really good.
Uh-huh.
And they still have a lot of talent. And they got rid of like I guess some of the locker room problems,
Right.
uh, and they must have some good defensemen. Not that I could really
Something.
name anything other than I think Morrissey and Stanley. I think are the only two that come to mind. Beyond that, I know nothing.
Right.
I also know you win the President's Trophy. Sometimes you bow out in the first round,
Kiss of
and
death.
so and if a team's going to do that, it's probably going to a team like the Blues, who got so get hot at the end of the year.
uh, yeah. Thanks for bringing that up.
There, another 5 minutes. Give me the Avalanche. That was
Alrighty. So who do
what
you
are you doing?
have
I don't know. What
going?
are you doing for the conference final?
Oh, Edmonton against Evs. Yep. Yep.
What? So do I just sit here, tell you all my thoughts? You're like, yep, I agree with that.
Well, To be fair to me, I wrote mine down before you finished saying all your thoughts because for the preseason I picked Nashville against Edmonton. Yeah, that can happen. And I kind of feel the same as you. I don't. The President's Trophy kiss of death scares me. I think the Jets will beat the Blues, but I don't know how they'll do against the Avalanche because I think the Avalanche are going to beat Dallas. And I think the same as you, they'll be playing some really good hockey, and the pressure, President's Cup, Canadian team, second round. History is not exactly on their side,
Hmm.
so I feel like the Avs will have the edge there. And same thing, I think. Bleh, it pains me to say it. I'm hoping my kiss of death goes to Edmonton. I would be Nothing would be happier than to watch them go out in the first round.
Hmm.
But I think if Edmonton get past the Kings, they'll get past whoever else is. I think the Knights will probably beat the Wild. Yeah, I would be
Yeah.
shocked if the Wild pull off that upset. But if the Wild pull off the upset, Edmonton will just go right through them, I think.
Hmm.
So I think it's gonna be Avalanche, Oilers, which is disgusting, but here we are.
Hmm.
And I think Edmonton's gonna advance because that's what I had for my preseason predictions. So
Same.
who are you gonna have? Edmonton or Avalanche?
I would have Edmonton as well.
Alrighty. So that brings us to the East. I'll do mine. Preseason I had Toronto and New Jersey, which I feel pretty great about New Jersey going. No, Toronto going. I don't feel great about New Jersey going there, but you know what? This is the first time in a while I think both my teams are actually making it to this point, let alone the Cup Finals. So I'm gonna stick with my predictions and see what happens. If I'm right, cool, and if not, well, I was young and hopeful and full of optimism at the beginning of the season, like everybody else.
Nice.
So who do you have for your Eastern Conference? In the beginning, you picked same as me, Toronto and New Jersey.
Um, I could go about 7 different ways with this. I do not think it will be New Jersey this year,
Yep, I would not be
given
surprised at all.
injury. Not,
Uh huh.
I mean, they're probably going to be a hot pick for next year. Like, okay, everybody gets back healthy, second year under Markstrom, yada
Yep.
yada yada, sort of thing. Um, but they're playing the Hurricanes round one, and like,
Oh yeah.
it's not that the Hurricanes are a juggernaut; they're just going to be a healthier, better team. And the
Uh-huh.
Hurricanes are like, okay, we're getting past you because we need to get to round two and play the Capitals again. And
Yeah,
so, I think I have to decide between those two teams as to who I think is going to come out on top on that. I like, boy, a early exit for the Hurricanes. Does that cost Brendan Moore his job? Like,
probably,
now the
probably.
Suns, I'm like, now the Capitals have had a magical regular season. Do I think they're a magical playoff team?
And that was
That I'm
that
not sold on.
was part of my thing. It's like I think they use all their energy and push to get Obi the record, and
Uh huh.
now the air will come out of their sails. And I think they'll beat the first round. Uh, but I would be very surprised if they get out of the second round. I mean, that'd be so cool to see Obi win a cup the year he broke the record, but I really don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah. So I think I'm probably leaning Hurricanes then for my Metropolitan champ, and then all right, we gotta go Atlantic. What were you doing? You were doing who came out of Atlantic for you? You had somebody pre-predicted.
Let's see here. I had Toronto v New Jersey.
Okay, so you still have Toronto there this year.
Yeah, yep. That's my bold prediction for the playoffs. Is Toronto will get past the second round.
So here is my thought on the Maple Leafs. I can see where the Panthers and Lightning are gonna beat the
Oh
ever
yeah.
living crap out of each other
Uh
again.
huh.
Right? At least they're gonna be walking into a diminished team in some way.
Agreed.
The Leafs are. they made all these changes in the offseason of coach, personnel, and whatnot to figure out how to play playoff hockey. Like they knew they had the talent just to win enough in the regular season, get in play the playoff hockey. So it'll be interesting to see how quickly it comes together. What I do like about the Maple Leafs this year is they're getting probably the easiest matchup they've ever had round one.
Eh,
Like they've always been playing Boston or Tampa Bay. Like
right, yeah. That's a steep order.
you're playing
Yeah.
the Senators team does not match up to any of those teams that they used to play. So I think they actually find an easier time getting out of round one, and then you're taking the shell of whatever comes out of the Lightning Panthers matchup. So the path of the Leafs is actually pretty good.
So,
So
would it surprise you if they get stunned and get bounced in the first round?
um much like my Edmonton Kings thing, where it's like I could take this team to win the cup. I could also take this team to be gone in five
Eh,
games.
eh, eh.
Like I could absolutely go both ways.
Yeah, they better hope
Um,
they win the first two games, otherwise they'll be facing
I
a lot of pressure.
I feel like what the Senators have done this season is a win for them. Like that's
Agreed.
as good as winning a playoff round for a lot of other teams, or two playoff rounds for other teams. Just making the playoffs, and not just barely making the playoffs, but like
Yeah.
playing good down the stretch and pushing
Uh-huh.
for the divisional spot. That's a win for them.
Ag-
And a lot of that came off the high of Four Nations face-off. Like we saw that with Kachuk, we saw that with Sanderson. Also, Linus Olmark,
Right.
his goaltending in the playoffs is historically not good. I
Right.
believe it's like
Yeah.
8 or something like that. It's just it's not good. So I'm pretty confident the Leafs get through the first round. Second round will be more of a dogfight, and then yeah, I'll say they play the Hurricanes in the conference finals.
All
And
right.
David Ayer's building.
Hell yes. And then who do you have coming out of there? Carolina or Toronto?
See, I want to say the Hurricanes, and I want to say the Hurricanes because I really would like to see the Hurricanes have more success. Because I don't hate the Hurricanes. I don't
Right.
hate the Maple Leafs,
Eh.
but I think for the drama and the pageantry
Oh,
and the
golly.
hype, like hey, let's take this Leafs thing all the way to the top, and then go to the Stanley Cup final,
Oh,
and
man.
then
Where'd that be so miserable?
have Mitch Marner walk away in free agency.
Yeah.
Like,
Ugh.
because I feel like say they lose in the first round, and then Marner walks away
Oh,
and
yeah.
goes for takes $50 million to go play in I don't know Detroit. um, and um, okay, that's one story arc. The other story arc is they go crazy deep on a huge run, and then they walk away and they never get that close again with the Matthews era teams.
Right. That wouldn't surprise me either.
Because Martin will be very, very, very difficult to replace.
Yeah.
However, if they lose early, I think you would want to walk away because like he's just going to eat the heat.
Uh-huh.
But deep run and he plays like he did in the Four Nations, they're going to be like, sign this guy to a lifetime contract, give him eight
Right.
years by $50 million. We don't
Yep.
care.
Make it work.
Uh, yep.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, the next 6 months or 3 months are going to be phenomenal for this kind of
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
So yeah, give me Maple Leafs then
Oh.
to move on to face the Oilers in the
So you
championship.
have an all-Canadian matchup there, eh?
Ah, yes, yes, I do.
Hey. All right, then who do you have pulling it off?
I can't imagine the Oilers going back to back years and losing back to back years.
Right.
In fact, there's just a will at that point that is like whatever the
Yeah.
shell of McDavid is, whatever the shell of Draisaitl is going to find a way to pull it together. And it's probably going to be like Jake Wallman scoring to win the Stanley Cup because he used to play in Detroit and then he was traded away and we had to pay to trade him away. And then the Oilers gave up a
uh,
first round pick to trade for him. It was like, we would have done that deal.
right?
Uh,
No kidding.
so yeah, probably the worst move that Heisman's ever made. So no, give me the Oilers over the Maple Leafs as
All right.
my Beyonds.
That does match up with your preseason cup prediction. So kudos to you. I'm tweaking mine just a hair. I had New Jersey winning it over Edmonton. Uh, yeah, no. I'm sending my kiss to death now to Edmonton over New Jersey. And like I said, I would be shocked spitless if New Jersey does make it. But you know, I got to roll with it since last year. I think it was I picked them to go or picked some team to go, and they didn't even make it. So it's like, well,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah, well, I gotta roll with it while it's here.
Hmm.
So, alright. So anything else then for our predictions for the playoffs or recaps or
I
anything else you want to discuss, talk about, rant about?
so just remember, when we get into playoffs, there are certain components that we all forget about until we're back into the playoffs. All right,
uh
and that's you can play more physical.
Yeah.
Power play more because they call fewer penalties.
Right.
Coaching makes a huge difference because you are line matching and scratching different players for different matchups nightly, daily, shift by shift. And solid goaltending can steal you games, and stealing a game can steal you a series.
Right.
So remember that, like, this is a different sport than what we just watched,
Yes.
and this is the superior version of the previous sport.
Oh yes, in every way, shape and form. Uh huh.
Also, why the heck does the Vegas Golden Knights game start at 11 o'clock on freaking Tuesday?
What?
11 o'clock my time, so 9 o'clock your time, bro.
What? It
Yeah,
does? I didn't look that far
yeah,
ahead yet. That's oh my
yeah. It's like
word.
it's like 8 o'clock local start time out in
That's
Vegas.
ridiculous.
And it's like, why are we doing it? I
And
have to think
then
it's because they to stretch out the viewership across the whole night.
apparently,
I
but still,
it it befuddled me.
yep. Well, then game four is on Saturday at 2 p.m. my time. So what? 4 p.m. your time?
Uh huh. Yep. So
Yeah. Thanks NHL. But whatever.
also the first round is the best round.
Yep.
So
Yep. Yep.
buy
Yep.
it now, lose your sleep early, and wait for warmer weather.
It's coming. But yeah, I'm
Um,
excited. Just excited the playoffs are here. Hope we get a real good playoffs this year. And yeah, it's kind of weird. There's not many teams I don't want them to win the cup in this year, so it's pretty nice.
that is nice. Very, very nice.
Uh-huh.
For an
Alrighty, well, anything else then you want to talk about, discuss, rant, or is that about it?
no, I'm good. I think we usually probably come back between the conference championships and the Stanley Cup final, kind of review the Stanley Cup playoffs, and then kind of predict the Stanley Cup finals. I think is usually what we do because we
That
have like
sounds right. Yep.
set off in
Yeah.
between.
There's like a week and a half sometimes, depending on how far the series goes before. But
Yep, yep. If they're short Eastern Conference, Western Conference finals, we'll have a nice long gap to do that in. So
uh-huh.
that's what you can expect to hear from us again in about a month and a half.
Yep, sounds good. So nothing else from me either. So I'm Justin.
I'm Alexander.
I'm the Hockey Podcast you're about to hear, which you just did. So thanks for listening. We'll talk at you later.
Bye.